Good. Who's that? Crackers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, no sweat. Shalom Israel, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Katham, Yahweh Shemar Tham Bashim Yahweh Shah. Priest and officer 5,000 you die, holding it down till 12 Shield General Mahayaman gets here. You got any questions, you know what I mean? Type your questions into the chat. General Mahayaman will be here shortly. Now, understand something. As Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right, we have to understand that this place is not our rest. This place is not our rest. And what we need to realize is why separation is so important for our people. Coming back to what our God said to do. Because contrary to what you believe, right, the Most High is not in the Christian church. He's not in the Muslim mosque. He's not in your fake Israelite group. The Lord is with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General Yahanna. Right. And it is important to realize that if you are not in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna, you are not in the truth. You are not in the truth if you're not in the UPK under commanding General Yahanna. Understand that. And it's important to realize because it ain't nothing outside of you. It's nothing. Ain't no brotherhood, ain't no sisterhood. Can't obtain that, you know what I mean, outside of this school. You can't. Because out there in the world, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and woman, they don't give a damn about us. They do not. These other nations do not care. Like, especially with the oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. His entire mission is to destroy our people. Right. And that's why it's important to come out of that mindset by not celebrating the 4th of July, not celebrating Labor Day, not celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas and all these different holidays that they have, and realizing that the plans that they have, you know what I mean, to destroy our families. Got to understand something. And that's why it's important to do what our God said, because the worst thing we ever could have did was listen to this oppressor and listen to these heathens and think, oh, it's okay to join them and join hand in hand with them and be all kumbaya. That's not what our God intended. This is what our God actually said. Read Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26.
Leviticus 20 and 26.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall be holy unto me.
God said, ye shall be holy unto me, meaning we should be separate unto the Most High. We should be separate. Because being separate is important. It's important because our God said that we were separate. Our God said we were set apart. You got to realize something, man. If you look at the state of our people, in whatever city we in, wherever we at, wherever the Lord's chosen people as Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, we are destroyed. We are destroyed, man. And it is important for us to realize how essential it is to do what our God said by separating ourselves from everybody else. Because our God called us a holy people. Holy is not what you think it is. It ain't your mama or your auntie with the white with the white gown and robe and feathered hat. I know y'all see him in church. You see that pastor with the white robe and gown, your mama and your auntie with the crazy looking church hats. They're not holy. The word holy, when you look it up, means to be set apart. Even when you look at the Bible, it's called the Holy Bible. But this Bible is set apart for who? Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That's who it's for. Read on.
Come. I, the Lord, am holy.
For I, the Lord, am holy. So that dismisses the noise of God loving everybody. Because where is that in the Bible? Let me put you on to something. Your pastor is going to say God loves everybody. Your imam, your grandmom, your grandpa, your dad, your mama. God does not love everybody. That is nowhere to be found in the Bible. Nowhere to be found. But I can show you where God told us to be separate. I can show you what God said that the children of Israel was and is. A holy people unto the Lord thy God, a special people. That's what the Most High said. Keep going.
And have severed you from other people.
And have severed you from other people. If my arm gets severed from my body, it's no longer attached. Our God severed us from these other nations. And I need you to understand something that's important. If you look at this time period, right, where they're pushing elections to where, you're seeing Donald Trump and you're seeing Joe Biden, neither one of them are for blacks, Latinos, or Native American Indians. Understand that first, black man and woman. Understand that first. Neither one of them could give a damn about our people. And our vote should not go to either one of them. You know who your vote should go to? Our king. Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. That's who you should put your vote into. The only way to do that is to get into the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General Yahanna. Our God said to be separate, for he is separate, and have severed you from other people. It's something that these other nations know, Matham Yai, that we don't. They know the importance of separation. Our God is telling us the importance of it. Because if you look at it, right, and look at these other nations, they don't push voting on them. They don't push that on Moab, the Chinese out in Chinatown and every major city. No, they don't vote. They stick to themselves. They're separate. They have their own city, their own community. Hell, and they run businesses out of our neighborhoods while maintaining their own world. Like China has its own. Think about this for a second. China has its own world in America. If you go to any major city that's a Chinatown, they literally have their own world because world means age or society. And then they add to that by coming in our neighborhoods, making tens of thousands of dollars a week. We couldn't do that. No, we could be separate, but we couldn't go in their neighborhood and establish businesses and then take it back to us. They won't allow it. We got to get to a stage where we prefer each other. And that's the importance of understanding what our God is telling us here in Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. Because it said, for I, the Lord, am holy, meaning the Most High is separate. He's only our God. Scripture says in Deuteronomy 6 and 4, Shammai, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akkad. Meaning this, our God is one God, black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Shammai, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh. Listen, and what is so important about it, right? Which is so important about that is that our God is only for us, and he's not for everyone.
Right.
And he took the time to sever us from other people. Why? Read.
That ye should be mine.
That ye should be what?
Mine.
That ye should be mine. Because we are the Lord's people. Give me Deuteronomy give me Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7. Because you know what I've been seeing lately? You know what I've been seeing? I've been seeing, like, in abundance, people trying to push the narrative of God loving everybody. And what about these other nations? Last time I was teaching about, I had some simpletons on TikTok. Y'all know who y'all are. Talking about, but what about everybody else? What about these other nations? Let me tell you what God said in Deuteronomy chapter 32 in verse 8. Read it for me, Baba Bashan. Shalom, warrior. Start at 7.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old.
The Bible says, remember the days of old. We have to remember how things were. We just read Leviticus and how we have to be separate because our God is separate. We got to realize something, which is really important. Our God told us to remember the days of old. We should always remember our laws, statutes, and commandments, our high holy days. Remember how things were. Remember the days of old. Read.
Consider the years of many generations.
Consider the years of the many generations that came before us. Read.
Ask thy father, and he will shew thee.
Mm-hmm.
Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
And thy elders. Ask thy father. Ask thy elders. They will show you. Ask Commander General Yahanna. They'll show you. Ask General Mahayaman. Ask General Mayak. Ask General Hazayan. General Anyat Shalmar. General Katham Gabar. General Kabbalah. Ask these generals. Ask them. They'll tell you. It says, ask thy father, and he will show thee. Listen, man, Commander Gen.YAHANNA been holding it down since the 80s. Never wavered, never folded. And that's how we have to be. Just like the priests and prophets in the days of old. This ain't the time to fall weak. This is not a period to fall weak, especially with World War III around the corner. Like, goddamn. Like, what you falling weak for? For weed? You just got to get high, don't you? You just got to go get that sister that's promiscuous and sexy red. I know you cannot contain yourself. You can't do that, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Now is the time to grow up. Now is the time to realize that this is the home of the truth and get your life together. Keep reading.
Verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance. The Most High divided the nations their inheritance. Meaning he gave, all of these other nations were divided. He ain't want everybody together. We reading out the Bible, right, Iba? It says the Most High divided the nations their inheritance. And these other nations got exactly what they need. They got exactly what they need. They too wild, they good. You worried about the Arab, who also has a hand in our community making tens of thousands of dollars a week. You worried about the East Indians. You worried about the Chinese. You worried about the Japanese. But Carl, you know what I just realized that brothers are starting to argue about now? The black Negroes now are talking about we foundational Black Americans. We don't mess with Mexicans. We don't mess with Guatemalans. We don't mess with West Indians and Haitians. But they love white people though. They love Africans. They love other nations. And when you look at it, you might think, damn, why do they have this deep-rooted hatred towards other brothers and sisters? Because that's in the Bible. That's Deuteronomy 28 and verse 54. And your eye would be evil towards your brother. I was rapping with a brother the other day with something, and he was like, but the Mexicans this. I'd be like, brother, you be sitting here trying to teach white people. He'd be like, well, you know, they need to learn. I'm like, well, what about your brother? Oh, he ain't my brother, but you'll sit down with the same oppressor that oppresses your brother and us. It's a rough spot. Go ahead, brother.
Can we also attest that to Rehoboam?
Say again.
Can we also attest that to Rehoboam when I think it was the other 10 tribes, and he said, I'm going to multiply your suffering this time, scorpions on Jericho. And then ever since then, I think it's Ephraim and rebellion against Judah.
Now, the important thing is, I wouldn't necessarily, you know, I can't say to necessarily go there, but I will address this point too. When you look at, you know, the tribes beefing with each other, like it's specific, because most people, you know, will use that and say, well, Puerto Ricans don't like us, or Mexicans don't like us. Let me explain something to you. I want to be very broad at TikTok. Don't get your feelings about what I'm about to say. Niggas don't like each other. Niggas don't like each other. Like, I never really understood that argument. They'd be like, well, and then the other one, Mexicans are taking black jobs. Like, nigga, what's a black job? That's right. The real black job, which includes Latinos and Native American Indians, is being a priest in the U.P.K. But understand this point too. When we say niggas hate each other, you've had more beef with a brother that lived on a different street than you. What did the brother from Mexico do to you? The brother from Guatemala, the brother from Haiti, the sister from the West Indian Islands. What have they done? And guess what? They beef with each other too. You know that, right? You do know that. Jamaicans beef with Trinidadians. Jamaicans beef with other Jamaicans. Puerto Ricans beef with other Puerto Ricans. Even when you want to go tribal, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, same thing. Levi, Haitians and Dominicans. Black people and Mexicans. We're all God's chosen people. And the thing about like the rebellion, that got, listen, one of the worst things we ever could have done was turning our back on our God. That's the number one thing. And these other nations know it, and that's why they play on it. It's a term that everybody in the world knows and everybody in the truth knows, but I don't think a lot of people understand how deep it really goes. Raise your hand if you ever heard of the term divide and conquer. The oppressor heard that too. And he plays on it. He plays on it. It's a war tactic. He knows the worst thing that he could have happen is our people coming back together. And that is a card, that is one of his, I ain't gonna say it's his trump card. But goddamn, it might be in the Bible. Because he'll play it. He'll go, the dark-skinned brother is better, the light-skinned brother is better than the dark-skinned brother. Puerto Rican, you're better than him. Mexican, you're better than him. Realize he hates all of us. He can't stand none of us. Same thing like when you look at the petty rap beefs too, with like Drake and Kendrick Lamar. The oppressor hates Drake just as much as he hates Kendrick. I'm too aware. I appreciate it. You better believe it. You better believe it. And that's why it's important to realize that when the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, he gave every nation what they are supposed to have. Now for our nation, keep going, Abad.
When he separated the sons of Adam.
He separated the sons of Adam. So when black people, especially you in that Christian church, you say we all supposed to be together, we all supposed to love each other, and which is really insane, right? It's insane. When you saying that we all supposed to be together, all kumbaya, when God said right here that he separated the sons of Adam. It says it. He separated the sons of Adam. He separated these other nations. He separated everybody. He did not want everybody to be together. Keep going.
God. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Meaning this, these other nations have their land where they are, and then he took us and had something special in store for us. Precept 2, I believe it's in Judges 3:1. Well, the Lord let these other nations around us, be round about us, to prove us, to see if we were going to serve him. See how that went, right? Keep reading.
Verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people.
For the Lord's what?
Portion is his people.
For the Lord's portion is his people. We're the Lord's chosen people. We're the Lord's portion. We're the ones that he chose for himself. He didn't choose Bill, Bob, Susie, Chung Lee, Ryu. Didn't choose them. Didn't choose Nanfutu, Nangata, the Black Panther. Didn't choose Habibi. He chose us to be his portion. For the Lord's portion is his people. Read.
Okay. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. We're the ones that are going to inherit. We're the ones that the Lord made covenants with. He didn't do this with these other nations. He chose us. So the need for their approval and wanting to be around them is just astounding to me, Ibad, because the Lord chose us. He didn't want us to be all together with these heathens. And they know this too. They understand it as well. Now, if I could, Ibad, let me get Romans, the 9th chapter. Let me get Romans 9 and verse 3. Baba Kusho. Go ahead.
This is book Romans 9, verse 3.
For I could wish that myself were cursed from Christ.
So read it again.
For I could wish that myself were cursed from Christ.
For I wish that I myself were accursed from Christ. Paul is saying, to put it in terms for you, I wish I was accursed from Christ. I'd be the only fake Israelite. I'd be the only Christian, the only Muslim. Why? Keep going.
Okay. For my brethren.
For thy what?
For my brethren.
For my brethren. For my brothers. Paul was saying, I'll be the only one not in the truth for my brothers. Keep going.
My kinsmen according to the flesh.
My kinsmen according to the flesh. Who are Paul's kinsmen according to the flesh, Nathaniel?
The Israelites.
Give me a precept. You gonna say that too, brother? Don't sound crazy. You know where you going? You know where you're going? You're gonna go to Romans 11:1. God. Go to Romans 11:1. Stay where you at, Ibad.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, have God cast away his people?
Have God cast away his people? Now you need to ask Christians this and cross-examine them. Cross-examine them when they say God loves everybody, that the Israelites had their chance. That's what they'll say. They'll say, and some of them will say, well, it was to the Jew first and then to us second. Not realizing that if you're talking to, one of us that say they're a Christian, they're a real Jew. And they're also the Jew that's a Gentile that Christ was speaking about. It says, what should I say then? Have God cast away his people? Keep going.
God forbid.
God forbid. The Lord didn't just cast us away. We're still his chosen people. Scripture says in Malachi chapter 3 and verse 6, for I am God, for I am Yahweh. I change not. The Most High does not change. I pray you understand. Keep reading.
For I also am an Israelite.
Paul is also a what?
Israelite.
Paul also is an Israelite. That should let you know. And Paul said in Romans 9 and 3, for he wished himself accursed from Christ for his brethren's sake, my kinsman according to the flesh. Paul is an Israelite. It says, for I am an Israelite, read.
Of the seed of Abraham.
Of the seed of Abraham. Keep going.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Of the tribe of Benjamin. Paul was a Benjamite, man. Paul would be a so-called West Indian brother today. He was an Israelite, and that's who he was speaking to. Go back to Romans 9 and 4, Ibad.
This is the book of Romans, 9, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Who are Israelites?
Who are Israelites, read.
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
We pertain to the adoption because as we were reading in Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, right? We're the ones that the Lord adopted. We're the ones that he chose. Keep going.
And the glory.
Mm-hmm.
And the covenants.
The glory and the covenants. We get the glory. We get the covenants, the agreement that the Lord made with us. Keep going.
And the giving of the law.
And the giving of the law, because the law was given to us. It wasn't given to everybody. That's another thing too. That's another thing. The law was not given to everybody.
Right.
The law was only given to the children of Israel. An oppressor, he can eat as much pork as he wants. He can smoke as much weed as he wants. We can't. We can't. Why do you think the Chinese can find a pangolin and deep fry him? Like, goddamn, man, like if you not fast enough to run away from Moab, that's your ass. We can't do that. We have a dietary law. Our God made us to be separate, as I was reading earlier. He chose us. We were given the law. He even told us when we came out of Egypt, he said, don't do as the Egyptians do. You know what the Egyptians do? Like, I know a lot of y'all, especially in the world, what deters a lot of brothers from you know what I mean? Listen, I ain't gonna say a brother's name, you know what I mean? But certain brothers, when they come up in this truth, man, they be like, God damn, man, but what about the shaper? It's a rough situation. Not realizing that's an African custom.
Right.
That's an African custom. When you see them, I think the precept is in Deuteronomy 14, when it talks about, cutting your edges and then piercing your body all crazy. You ever see them with cutting their lips and cutting their body open and putting plates in it and shit? And then that's an African custom. That's heathen customs. And let me explain something to every so-called brother that's a Pan-African, or Egyptologist. You ain't a real Egyptologist or Pan-Africanist. Because I ain't see a brother cut his lips open. Not one time and put a plate in it. Or open up his ears, none of that. You seen it, Bakari? No. You know what they do? They get shea butter and black soap. And a dashiki and a red and black and green flag. You confuse. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good at that. Got some sorry brothers, man. It's a damn shame. You ain't African, and nor should you want to be one. Nor should you want to be one. Let me tell you something, I thank the Most High every day that I ain't know him.
Damn right.
I ain't listen. Y'all got a problem. Our people got a problem with colorism, and it's bad. You think everybody that got melanin, you die. You should hear some of the fools I be talking to. They be like, it's the melanin you die of. The melanin. A brother told Salakia, a brother told me, a brother looked me in my face at the slavery and said, the melanin is what give niggas powers. It's what gives us special abilities on why melanated people can do what nobody else can do. I said, if that's the case, right? Where's the African LeBron James? Where's the East Indian Usain Bolt? He out there playing cricket somewhere in the Thunder. He out there playing cricket. Where's the Asian Simone Biles at? Where's the Samoan, you know what I mean, Serena Williams? Where are they at? Even if you want to go to the inventor side of things, how come every major and minor invention that was made here was made by blacks and Latinos? Where are your people at? Where are they at? What are they doing? Nothing. Because they not like us.
Right.
They not Salaki, who are Israelites, to whom pertain to the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law, the service of God and the promises. We're the ones that was given that. Y'all, give me Deuteronomy 7:6. We're the ones that were given those things. And what we have to realize is the more time that we spend trying to dwell on them and give them, and which is so sad, you're trying to give our inheritance and our salvation to those that hate us. They cannot stand us. You got to realize that the oppressor works hard every day to keep us into the dark. The last thing they want you to do is come into the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander General Yohanna and find out that you're an Israelite. They don't want that. Let me Deuteronomy 7:6.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Listen, man. Listen. It says, thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Oh, we are the holy people unto the Lord thy God, a separate people. Keep going.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord chose us to be a special people unto himself. That should tell you something right there. He chose us to be a special people. Ain't nothing special about these other nations besides them being slow. Y'all didn't know that, right? Moab is slow like God. Y'all do know that, right? Moab invented a weapon that can hurt himself. And y'all sit up there and act like he's a genius. You sitting up there with nunchaku, fucking your own, slacking for the language, messing your own elbows and arms up, harming yourself. Thinking he got some deep philosophy. Some of y'all brothers look at Bruce Lee and act like he's the greatest fighter to ever walk the earth. I stand here, and I hate to tell you this to your soul, Black and Latino and First Nation man that love Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was a Chinese Steven Seagal.
Right.
He was an actor. A Chinese Steven Seagal. He was an actor. Go ahead, brother. I know I hurt your feelings. I know you like Bruce Lee. I'm joking, brother. I'm joking. Hey, I'm messing with you. He raised his hand like, no, nigga, I ain't gonna let that slide. Go ahead, brother. I'm messing with you.
But I'll say this. And I can't remember where it's at, but it shows that in our history, we was beating them up. Like we think, like when you see those old Chinese exploitation movies, and then they show like I forget, it was one of David's men, and they was like he plucked the spear out of Moab, one of the chief Moab.
Give me the precept, not to cut you off, brother. Give me the precept with the lion-like men of Moab. Give me that precept.
Yeah, we was beating that.
Listen, let me explain something to you. That one-edge punch, it looked cool. I want you to look up a black man by the name of Victor Moore.
Right.
Victor Moore was a 10th degree black belt. And he whooped Bruce Lee's ass.
Really?
Yes, he did. Come on, raise your hand next time. Yeah, you could, but raise your hand. He gave it to him. He ain't just beat up him. He beat up Chuck Norris, beat up all of them. And then they try to demonize the brother. And they cut the footage too. But everybody that was there, every master that was there at that tournament, they all was laughing at Bruce Lee because he was an actor. Y'all make it seem like that Moab is just, I know y'all watch them Kung Fu movies. I know some of y'all, I like anime too. Y'all get caught up into it and you're like, well, this is real. This is this is that. Brother, all of it is fiction. You know who Moab and Ammon, the Chinese and Japanese, base their fiction off of? They base it off of us. They base it off of us. I'll give you a small one, right? Animated brothers watched it. I watched back in the day called Baki the Grappler. A lot of Japanese people admired Muhammad Ali. Admired him. Really did. A lot of people admired him, period, because of how great he was. That's why they call him the greatest, the GOAT, the greatest to ever do it. And guess what? They done made comic books like in DC, Superman versus him. They done put him in different anime and different shows. We're real life superheroes to these other nations. And the only way they can combat that is by creating a character while we live that out. The real Superman is a brother. Alawat Panya. All right.
Clap it up. Do it on. I.S.U.P.K. While you're there. All right. Let's get ready. I'll answer all of your questions in the room and online. We'll give you a breakdown today. I think we never did the breakdown on what black jobs are. That's from Donald Trump. I'm trying to see what he's talking about. Black jobs, all right? You need the LeBron James thing, you let me know. Besides that, I'll answer every question that you have, Lord allow, all right? Whenever you're ready, let me know. Hang your phone unless you need it there, right?
Oh, we go to TikTok.
Okay.
Hey, Bob, you read the general first question about the show? Also, the second time.
The question is, this is from,
Ours from Officer GEN.YAHANNA. It says, Slack, is there female angels, or can an angel appear to you as a woman the same way an angel can appear to you as a man?
No, there are female angels. They're rarely spoken of in the Bible. I believe there's one precept about someone seeing a female angel. There's no other account of a female angel. Not found worth the one. Next.
Colonel Khan, sir. Larry Littlejohn asks, does Galatians 3:28-29 mean that God also loved Gentiles as well as Jews?
No, that scripture is speaking about the whole house of the nation of Israel. In the nation of Israel, you have Gentiles and Jews in this nation of Israel. You are a Gentile. Why do I call you a Gentile? Because you were not born in Israel where you were raised up keeping the law, circumcised on the 8th day of your birth, because you have worshiped strange gods in your life, because you come from a family of sinners. Your mother is a sinner. Your father is a sinner. According to the Bible, that would make you a Gentile. Come on.
I don't mean to go back to the question.
Please.
The question the brother asked, I would look for myself. And what the precept was Zechariah chapter 5, verse 5 and 9.
That's correct. I'm sorry, were you making a point, or you wanted me to answer a question?
No, I was letting you know the question he asked, because I want to go for myself.
Yeah, that's the one that's the precept I was discussing, right? Absolutely. That's talking about female angels. Why? Because the Most High God and the angels during the creation, they made us like them. So the rules that we have down here, we got them from the rules that are up there. So an angel could never become a woman, of course, because you cannot become a woman. So these are female angels. They have some purpose in the kingdom of heaven. This scripture describes them being seen in a vision, and that's the only one. These are female angels as opposed to transgender angels. Everyone understands. Next.
Come on, sir. Rocky, I'll ask Slocky if I could. I got to break down Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 1.
No problem, warrior. Go ahead and pull it up for me.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4.
Deuteronomy 14 and verse 1.
You ready?
Come. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 1. Ye are the children of the Lord, your God. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
This is the law that forbids us for keeping the practices of the Egyptians. When you read about the entire book of Leviticus, the entire book of Exodus, those rules that we have in the Old Testament, those rules were set up by the Most High God specifically to separate us from the Egyptians, who were our number one influence for 300 years. But the Most High God was giving us a land of our own, a language of our own, rules, laws of our own. And so you're going to find laws all throughout the Old Testament, the first 5 books of Moses, that specifically are there to stop us from doing what the Egyptians were doing. This is one. The Egyptians believed that it was unholy for you to have hair on your head and hair on your face. They believed that being bald was pure. Shaving all the hair off your head, off your face, was pure. They believed if someone died in your family, you should tattoo their name on your body. I know most of you do that right now today in America, which is currently Egypt, the land of our captivity. Here's a specific law about things that we cannot do because the Egyptians do them. You can also find what I just described in Leviticus, the 18th chapter. Come on.
Sir, just make clarification. Shaving the borders between your eyes is shaving your eyebrows.
That's shaving your eyebrows. That's correct. That's shaving off your eyebrows for the dead. Do you understand? So now your grandmama dies. All grandmothers are going to die. All grandfathers are going to die. That's the way of things, young man. Many times in the Black and Hispanic community, because we are so sad constantly because of how we've been brought up, even the normal cycle of life can destroy us. You lose your grandmother, you're going to get hooked on cocaine and live out in the streets because you lost an 85-year-old woman. 85-year-old women die. Here's what you can't do. What you cannot do is shave off your eyebrows because your grandmother died. That's what the Egyptians did. Everyone understands? Come on. Keep reading.
Verse 2, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Why? Because you're a holy people. The Egyptians did that. The word holy means separate. You're not like them. You're a separate people from the Egyptians. Everyone understands? Go ahead.
And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people.
He doesn't want you to be like every other nation and follow their customs and their practices of shaving their eyebrows off whenever someone dies in their family, so they can walk down the street and everyone can go, oh, did you lose somebody? Is that why you don't have any eyebrows? That's why you tattoo your mom's name on you, so that you can start the conversation of, yeah, here's my mom. See, this is my friend Joey right here. This is my friend Malik. Over here, you got Too Tall Tony right here. Yeah, I lost my dad and my grandmom. You're a damn Subway in Harlem. And women, you look disgusting with tattoos. You look like a Subway in Harlem, and you want someone to treat you like a princess. Well, these things are what the Egyptians did. They did this, but you're separate from other people. You are a peculiar people. You're different. You're different from them. Don't mourn your dead the way they mourn theirs. Continue. Let me know when I'm done with the brother's question.
Unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth.
Here we go. Unto himself, meaning he makes you like him. He gives you what he wants, his culture. The culture of heaven. You got a warning right here already. I don't know what I said. I don't know. Okay, he gives you his culture, the culture of heaven. And read the last part about the nations.
Above all the nations that are upon the earth.
It's a risky thing. I'll try. I'll do my best. Read that last part.
Above all the nations that are upon the earth.
Equal to the Egyptians.
Above all the nations upon the earth.
But we all have the same God. We just call him different names.
Above all the nations.
You see, that's the Bible. The Israelites are above all the nations on the earth. It's in the Bible. The Most High God gave us a rule to conduct our lives like that. Those of us that couldn't do it, we were cut off from our nation. And we were called Gentiles. We were called another nation, which is what the word Gentiles means. Because we refused to keep these rules that made us separate from every nation. So now you're a Gentile. You're not an Israelite anymore. You're an African American. You're not an Israelite anymore. You're a Mexican. You're not an Israelite anymore. You're a Sioux or a Cheyenne or a Seminole Indian. You're a Haitian, which means you are a Gentile. You are another nation. But we were not chosen and made by God to be like everyone else. We were made to be a peculiar people, and these are part of the customs that we took on to make sure of it. Anything else? Next.
This is from Officer Quamapar. That's like, I got a breakdown on 2 Corinthians 6 and 10, where Paul says having nothing but possessing everything.
Okay. Go ahead, pull it up.
Book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 10. As sorrowful, yet always rejoicing. As poor, yet making many rich.
One verse above it. This scripture is talking to brothers in the school. Like every letter in the New Testament is speaking to the schools that the Apostle Paul was over and was guiding. All right? So read one verse above it, please.
As unknown and yet well known.
He's describing the wisdom on how you should live your life if you're in the truth. You live your life as unknown, but well known. So you're not going to behave like you're a superstar. You're not going to behave like the preachers do. The preachers behave like, they're politicians. They sit with presidents. They behave as if every preacher really is / a politician, every last one. If a politician gives a speech, he does it like a sermon. They all do it. They give a speech. They know that God wants this, and God bless America, everybody. Every politician does an impersonation of a preacher when he does a speech. And every preacher behaves like a politician. They all behave like they're the biggest thing in the world, that they control what everyone does. You won't be like them. You're not going to be like them. This is what you'll do. Read it again.
As unknown.
As unknown, go ahead.
And yet well known.
And yet well known. So you'll behave like no one knows you, yet everyone knows you. You're going to be humble, young man. That's what you'll be. You won't act like, you're not going to get to be a superstar rapper in here. You can forget whatever garbage that is in your stupid mind. A lot of you, because you're from a tribe called the tribe of Judah, who is glory hungry. It's your birthright, I understand. We all suffer from it if you're from the tribe of Judah. But the tribe of Judah is glory hungry. That's all they want to do is perform. You start them off at 5 years old. They pop lock it in front of the damn family reunion. They stand in front of the TV. This is how you know a Judite. The TV is center in the room. The Judite is going in front of the TV to stand there and let you, and so you can work out, so you can see this new dance routine, because that TV is getting too much attention now. And so he has to stand in front of it. She has to stand in front of it, tell her funny jokes, knock jokes, and forget about the dance moves. That's all a Judite's life is performing one dance routine after another, or rapping. Why? Because you have an insane desire for glory. That's what you want. You want this. Oh, that's great. You better know that about yourself, because this job does not include that. That's not this. That's something else. You got to go and, go rap. Go do it. You need love. You need love in the form of praise. I understand. You must have love in the form of praise. This job isn't where you're going to get it, even though everyone praises you. Everyone knows you. You affect so many lives, but you're not going to act like you do. Everyone understands. Next. Let me continue, please.
As known and yet well known, as dying and behold, we live.
One more time.
As unknown and yet well known, as dying and behold, we live.
As dying, how do we behave? We behave like we're dying, like we're ill, like we're suffering, and yet we are here, and we are going to survive all of our enemies' demise. But how do we behave? We don't behave like that. Why? Because our people are dying. Our people are suffering. Our people are in pain. They're homeless. They don't have anyone to care for them or to love them. We do. We absolutely do. There's no chance any loyal member of this school goes without food or shelter. That doesn't happen in here. Commanding General Yahanna will not allow it. But we will absolutely behave like we understand what they're going through. We'll behave like we're dying, although we live. Everyone understands. Next. I believe his question was somewhere else, wasn't it? Farther down.
Was it 10? 6 and 10? Yes.
So, let me get a napkin, please, Mr. Thumia.
As sorrowful.
As what?
Sorrowful.
As what?
Sorrowful.
I believe you're getting the point from now. As sorrowful, meaning we'll behave like we're sorrowful. Like we're sad for what we've done. Like we're sad for the things that we've done in the past. We'll behave like we're sad. Keep going.
Yet always rejoicing.
Yet always rejoicing. Why do we behave like we're sad if we're always rejoicing? Because the people we serve are sad. They're sad. They've lost. They're in pain. So you better be in pain. They're crying. So you better cry. Everyone understands. But really, we're happy every day. People think that we're so angry. I don't know what in the hell they're talking about. But I do know this. I do know that when I'm speaking, I am absolutely ferociously angry because my people are being attacked. I'm angry for them. You understand? I'm angry because of what's happening to them. As far as me, I'm just fine. Everyone understands. Next. I'm sorry, unless there's more.
Yet making many rich, as having nothing, and yet possessing all things.
Here we go. I believe you get the point. Yet making many rich. Many people will be made rich because of the care that you give them, the focus, the attention, the wisdom, the kindness, the hard work that you put into them. Many people will be made rich. Yet you behave as if you have nothing. That's how you behave. That's humility. That's wisdom. This is what a real public servant is supposed to do. You worship politicians in reverence who serve themselves. But an actual public servant is supposed to live like this. He's supposed to represent you. You're sad, so am I. You're poor, so am I. You're in pain, so am I. And I do that not because of who I am, because who I am is irrelevant. What matters is who are the people I serve. And you have to be what they need you to be. Everyone understands. Next.
This is from Jimmy Remy. He says, Shalom, General. I thank you for allowing me to ask this question. If you see fit, can you break down Numbers 24 and 16 and 17?
Absolutely. The water, and I will answer the question, all right? Let me kind of move this somewhere else. I can set to the side of me. It's distracting me a taste, all right? You can put it somewhere up front so it can be in the same direction I'm looking at it, all right? If you don't mind, I appreciate it. Okay, the water, that's perfect. All right, go ahead.
So his point was, how was Balaam able to prophesy to Balak? Was Balaam a Moabite or Israel?
Balaam was an Israelite. He's speaking about a brother in the scriptures who was the other nations were attempting to seduce him to curse the nation of Israel because he had the gift to curse or to bless. And they wanted him to curse the nation of Israel, and he refused. Balaam, that's what I'm talking about. He's an Israelite, right? Your dad had jogged your memory? Yeah, he's an Israelite, right. Okay. I believe if that was his question, that's the answer. Was there anything else? Next. If you need more, just let me know, but I hope you don't see that in a X-Men United kind of way, or the origin of X-Men, because that curse is not like a superhero movie. That curse is not a spell, and it is a spell. All right, if you need more on it, you got to let me know. If not, I got to move on. Next.
From Kanaki Hawada, the Shalom Shirk. I got a general breakdown of Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled.
Right. So all of these laws about clothing that has diverse, not material. What's the word they use? Diverse. What's the thing you put into a garment? You make a garment out of it. Say again?
Like linen.
Diverse, whatever that stuff is that you make, wool, silk, fabric, something like that. I think fabric is the right word. All of those laws are about anti-scamming laws. Every last one of them. Right? In this world, in America, all you can think about is someone scamming you day and night. Right? But we have a list of laws you'll read right here. Every one of these laws are anti-fraud laws, so that you can't fraud anyone. If you're a farmer and you sow your seed with cucumbers that die as soon as you pick them, with cucumbers that last a long time, then you reach into your field and you say, see, these are the last a long time cucumbers. And they say, I'll take this field so I can sell it. Really, that field is full of cucumbers that die as soon as you pick them, which is why you can't plant diverse seeds in the same field, so that you don't cheat the people that you sell vegetables to. You can't cheat them. As you know now, in the modern supermarket, there might be 25 different kinds of cucumbers out. There's a watermelon that's made of, what's terrible? Apples. I mean, you're going to buy an apple that's going to be so damn delicious you don't know what to do. I think they call it the Honey Electric Crisp. They got a name like Honey Electric Powerhouse Apple. Then there's that other one my mom used to buy. That thing is good for nothing but hitting somebody upside the head with it. It's a pile of mush. Now they're both apples. Do you understand? Now if they're both planted in the same place, I'll say, buy these. You want this, you want all of this, so you can sell it, you got it. I bite into one thing and it's the Honey Electric Crisp. It's not when I get them home, it's mush. You die.
You break it down so heavy, you're going to understand and appreciate this.
Break.
I had Isupk in my slavery. Break down the 15 different types of potatoes that I had first. It was breaking down, these ones grow faster, these ones are better, this is not. I thought potatoes was potatoes. They're not.
Give him a hand. I'm glad you brought that up. As y'all know, I have videos coming out this week before I go to Detroit about what Officer Yediah did with me with these potatoes are. 2 days ago, Yediah, now I'm growing the potatoes. I'm going to show you what I'm dealing with in about 3 days. There was a bag of them that did not sprout, so I couldn't plant it. It's like 100 of them. I planted 85. There was like 100 of them that didn't sprout. So I just put them away thinking, these must not sprout. I come back 2 days ago, I just put them somewhere, and they're sprouting insane. So now I got to plant 100 more, which leads to the question I wanted to ask tonight. Who wants some potatoes? Is anything else good? 'Cause I have no more room. So if anybody wants to grow some potatoes, I got 100 of them for you. I have no place to grow them. If you want some, see me about them, because there's so many different kinds of potatoes. I was in Atlanta last week. I don't know what this sister's name is. Her husband, she's the wife of a brother in the school. They made a sandwich. This sandwich was so delicious. Part of the reason why is because it had one of the best tomatoes I've ever eaten in my life on the tomato. I've had 3 good tomatoes in my life. That's how bad tomatoes are that I remember them. This was the 3rd best tomato I've ever had in my life, because you're going to go to that store and buy a tomato and it's terrible. Unless you get that, what's that tomato that's from the past? The thing is from the Back to the Future, heirloom tomato. You get yourself an heirloom tomato, it's from the past. It is absolutely insane. Another tomato is like a mushy mess, ruining your whole damn sandwich. You can fool people because of so many different kinds of seeds. Not in our land, not in our culture. You're not allowed to fool people the way you can fool people in America. That's what this precept is about. Okay, you're going to have the delicious honey electric apples. They're right here. I play nothing else right here. No other apple with it. No other tomato with the heirloom from the past tomato. You're going to know what you're buying if you're buying from an Israelite farmer. Everyone understands. And you can do this with livestock, the same thing. There are certain livestock breeds out that are not going to survive the winter. They're going to die when the winter gets here. There are certain livestock breeds that are terrible at being mothers. They hate being mothers. They're going to kill the lamb or the calf. They can't do it. And you're going to buy that thinking that you're going to breed cows, but you have the kind of cow that hates being a mother to a calf, because there are so many different kinds of cows and goats and sheep, and you can do a lot of scamming unless there's a government that protects people from businesses who don't have scruples, from businesses who are unscrupulous and would take advantage of people and cheat people. In this government, you have that protection. Everyone understands because of this precept. Are we good to go here? Next. See me one more time. Thumb you up.
The next question is from Officer Shabbat. He says, if I may, can I get a general breakdown of Matthew 22 or 14?
No problem. Go ahead and read it.
Sir, book of Matthew, chapter 22, and verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Any more? You better go 2 verses above it.
Matthew chapter 22. Oh, stop. This is the, you want me to read?
Yeah, wherever you think the point starts.
It's a parable about the marriages.
Of course. Go ahead.
I'll start at verse 1. And Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding.
So, okay, to understand this, you got to focus in for a second, but it will become quite clear in a second, all right? Imagine a giant wedding feast, and this person is a king. So he goes and he invites, of course, the nobles, the people in his world, to come to the wedding of his prince or his princess. He sends out vast invitations to the nobles. Continue.
Verse 3. And he sent his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come.
So after he sent the invitations out, then he sent his servants out to bring the people to the wedding who were invited. They wouldn't come to the wedding. They refused to come to the king's wedding. Can you imagine that? They wouldn't come. Here's why. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner.
He said, listen, the wedding is now. I prepared my dinner. That's how close we are to the wedding. The food is on the table. I sent out invitations a long time ago. I sent the people to get you. You couldn't come. Now the food is on the table. I'm telling you, it's time to come to the wedding feast. Continue.
Verse 5. But they made light of it.
They did what?
They made light of it.
They thought it was a joke. They didn't think it was a big deal at all to miss this celebration, to miss this feast. They made light of it. Continue.
And went their ways.
And then they left. The servant came to them and said, oh, I can't do that. I can't come. They thought it was a joke, and then they went about their business. Continue.
And went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
Here we go. Now we get into the point. One to his farm, another to his merchandise, meaning these were businessmen, rich men. I can't come to some wedding. I have a business to run. I can't come to some wedding. My farm needs my attention. I can't come to that wedding. You ready? I'll give him a second, everyone. Go ahead.
We'll count verse 5 in the middle. So like in verse 6. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully.
And the what?
And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully.
And the people that were left, that's the remnant, the ones that didn't just laugh it off and leave and go handle their business. They took the king's servants and handled them spitefully. They treated them evilly because they came to invite them to this party that the king was holding for his family. They treated the servants of the king with evil, with unkindness. Continue.
And slew them.
They did what?
And slew them.
And they killed the king's servants. They killed them. Keep going.
Verse 7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth.
But the king heard about what happened to his servants. He heard about what happened to them, and he was wroth. Wroth means angry. Keep going.
And he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers.
Now he sends someone else. He doesn't send the servants to give invitations. Now he sends his armies, his hunters. He sends them out to destroy those servants who harmed his other servants. Continue.
And burned up their city.
And he burned their cities down. He burned their New York, their Philadelphia, their Washington, D.C., their Guadalajara, their Sierra Leone, their Liberia, their France and their Russia, their Beijing. He burned their cities. Continue.
Verse 8. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which are bidden were not worthy.
He told his servants, you know what? The wedding is ready, but the people I invited, they weren't ready for this dinner. They weren't ready for this wedding. The people I invited. Continue.
Go ye therefore into the highways.
So you know what? I invited rich people, farmers and men of merchandise. I invited them. They didn't want it. So they hurt the people I sent. So I had them unalived, and I burned down their cities. Now I'm going to send you out again, except this time you are going into the what?
Into the highways.
Come on.
And as many as ye find, bid them to the marriage.
Now I'm going to send you out into the highways. What is a way? Who knows? Let's ask Alexa. One second. I know you know, Warrior. Let me ask Alexa. Alexa, what does the term way mean?
As a noun, way is usually defined as manner, mode, or fashion. For more, ask
Alexa, what does the term the way mean?
The term way is a conjunction that indicates a method or course of action. It is used to connect two ideas or phrases in
Alexa, stop. I'm sure I'm not phrasing it right. The term way, like the term Milky Way, you've heard that term before, right? Milky Way, that's because ancient astronomers looked up in the sky and they saw a street that looked like a street of milk in the sky. That's why you have Broadway in New York, because the term way means street. He sent the next invitations to the streets. That's what he did. Instead of sending them to the farmers and the businessmen, He invited people from the street, from the highways. What is a highway? A street that has heavy access of people. A lot of people coming and going, like the campsites you have here in Philadelphia. That's why the UPK always goes to major intersections, major street corners in every city that we're in. We're looking for the highway, with the place where all the people come and go. Why? Because now it's our turn to come to the wedding. Now it's our turn. It was the turn of Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and his father, who was another rich, preacher. And all of the rich men who were at one time invited to this wedding, they didn't want to come. Who did he invite the first time? He invited the Sadducee and the Pharisee, who are literally the heirs to the Hashmonean dynasty, who are the heirs to the house. What's the house that did over there with the Hanukkah? Judah Maccabee. The Judah Maccabee family ruled after we expelled the Greeks. They became the Hashmonean dynasty, who became the Sadducee and the Pharisee. Oh, they were an ancient house, men of high repute, men who their grandfathers were Judah Maccabee. My God, man, that's an aristocracy. That cat, you know where his blood goes to? The men that expelled the Greeks from Israel. This cat's bloodline is insane. He didn't want to serve Christ. He didn't want to do this job. So our king went out to the streets, man, and he found us. And we don't come from rich men. My father died in his FedEx uniform. Ask Captain Tower. I remember seeing him in it. I walked into the bedroom. There my father is at 63, dead at 63 with his FedEx uniform on. And he would have been wearing that for the next 10 years. That's where I come from. And Ty Ward standing by the bed. He was not a rich man. You understand? He wasn't a doctor, Martin Luther King. He wasn't a six-figure man. He wasn't an entrepreneur. He was from the street, and so am I. And now here we are. We're the ones who are invited now. You didn't want to come. He invited all of the civil rights leaders of the 60s. Oh my God, that crew there. Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, all of those names, they all became congressmen and senators. All of them. They've been the fuel behind about 6 presidents. Those religious leaders of the civil rights movement. They don't want this job, but the brothers from the streets do. And now it's our turn. Keep going.
Verse 10. So those servants went into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
Brother, I was looking for rich men. Now, whoever, just come on in here. What are you? Oh, you went to college. Come on. You fresh out of prison? Come on. That's all. Bad and good. Criminals, students, college students. Come on. Drug dealers, come on. You want to lie to a few people you want to change? Come on now. You were in college, you were trying to be a cop. You decided that's not the way for you? Come on. Oh, you were a criminal and you decided that's not the way for you. Well, come on and sit next to this former cop. And let's go, because we're the ones invited now. Now it's our turn. Continue.
And the wedding was finished with guests.
Oh, now we can eat. Because now everyone came, everyone showed up. We're not slowed down anymore by waiting for some rich man's son who thinks he's too good to do this job. Why would he do this job? He has a Fortune 500 company to run. He's a 6-figure man. He doesn't want to do this. He's a high-value 6-figure man. He's not coming to do this job. No sweat. No sweat. The sons of crackheads will do this job. Do you understand? The sons of coke sniffers and coke dealers, we will do this job. No problem. And we'll combine some brothers that went to college and went to school and did some good things and had good hearts. As long as they can come in here with everybody else, then we can all do it together, because the people who were asked to come to the wedding before chose not to do it. That's the breakdown. Everyone understands. Next.
Go.
Young brother in the back.
I'm sorry, can you just elaborate further when
Please.
you see the guests about the proper attire and so the lead?
Is it farther down right here?
That's I think maybe the next verse.
Go ahead and read it, Moreau.
Come. Verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment.
So now remember, these are all brothers from the streets, good and bad. So now the dinner is happening now. The king walks into the dinner room, he sees all his guests, it's perfect. But when he gets there, he sees some man who is not properly attired. To not be properly attired means you weren't dressed for a wedding. You came dressed like you coming to a basketball, to play basketball, or you were going to work all day. He didn't come properly attired like you would come to a wedding. You understand? And the king noticed him. Continue.
Verse 12. And he said unto him, Friend, how comest thou in hither not having a wedding garment?
He goes up to him, friend, my friend, why would you come in here not wearing a wedding garment? Why would you do that? Continue.
And he was speechless.
The friend said he couldn't explain. He couldn't give an answer. Continue.
Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot.
He said, you know what? You don't have an answer? No sweat. Arrest him. Bind him hand and foot. Keep going.
And take him away.
And get him out of here. Keep going.
And cast him into outer darkness.
And throw him, exile him. Throw him out into the woods. That's like outer darkness, where you're out in the middle of darkness in the woods. That's the metaphor. Continue.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people crying and a lot of people gritting their teeth because they're in so much pain. What's the breakdown? This is someone from the streets. He's come in, but he is not prepared. And you better be prepared. Don't you understand you've been given an opportunity? What do you think you would have been if not for this school? Just like your father. That would have been you. That would have been you. Just like your uncles and your cousins. Now you get this opportunity to do something amazing. And you're not prepared to do it? Can I give you some people that are not prepared? You've come into the Israelite school of UPK. You're ready to have your head anointed with oil and become a priest and an officer. And your friends from the world are going to make you relapse. Are you not going to give up your friends from the world? Are you going to lose this opportunity over your cousin? Over the friends on your job? Is that what's going to happen? So now here you are, given the path to life when you were going to die. That's what was going to happen to you. Now I'm in the truth, but I can't give up my friends. They're my homies for life. Did you smoke weed with them? Absolutely. Did you do robberies with them? Absolutely. So I'm going to come into the truth, but I can't give up my friends. Then you are going to relapse. You're going to be just like them. Because how do you dare even take this opportunity, which so many men will never get? And you're not prepared to continue this until you win. God damn it, if you got an NBA career, you have to give up your friends because you can't get high all night anymore with them. You got to go practice. You can't go to the strip club and drink all night because you have to be up at 5 a.m. There is no opportunity that you can get in life where you won't have to give up your friends to do it. There is none. Go get a good job that makes you come in there at 5 a.m. Your friends are going to say, we ain't seen you in a while. Where have you been? What's up with you? You'll feel bad and keep going around them? Get the F out of here. Get out. Go be with them. You women, you can't give up. You sisters cannot give up your friends on your job. to be able to not be just another bitch who had an abortion. That's all you have to do. I apologize. You know what I'm thinking? That's what you are, because you won't give up this girl you met last year. Women bond, in a week. They have some. If a woman goes on a job, I can meet a friend. That is her best friend for life, forever. She met her 2 months ago. And now she's in the truth. And her husband says, now she can get married. Now she can have a husband. She cannot be the filth that she was before she was in here. And she can't, because her husband doesn't want her hanging around with that person on her job. She has to hang around with her. She can't give her up. She met her 6 months ago. She's her best friend that she ever met in her life. You're not prepared. Get the F out of here. You're not ready for the opportunity. You didn't come dressed for the wedding. You're in here. You were called, then you came. You can't give up your friends. You can't give up, some woman who doesn't want to be with you anyway. You still pleasing her, and you got to celebrate birthdays for her. Get out. Is that simple enough to understand? Get out. Anything else? Come on.
Verse 14, for many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah, listen, you're in here. You were called in here. You came, but you're not chosen because you were not prepared to eat this dinner until it's gone. You weren't prepared. Would you come in here thinking that you would keep your family? Huh? The minute your ex-wife and your kids get upset, the minute your kids are angry about you being in the school, you are leaving the truth. Leave now. Leave, get out. Go tell your camp leader, I don't want to lose my family. I'm in here and I'm an officer, but my family is going to be, get out then, you love junkie. Get out. Who is trying to keep you? The Israelite School of U.P.K. does not need the numbers. We don't need you. We're fine. You got kids that need you. Don't they need you? What are they going to do at Christmas without you? What is your ex-wife? You got some slut, some ex-wife that is angry at you because you're taking your kids around that cult and she's hurting you? You're feeling conflicted in your heart? Let the conflict be over. Leave. Leave the truth. That's what you should do. Because if Commanding General Yahanna allows me to be in charge of you another day, I'm going to find you and kick you out to school. And I'm going to keep it secret for a while so that no one even knows about it. Then in the end, I will apologize for what I've done. But you will be gone. Does everyone understand? Next.
That was a question, sir.
Do me Espanol. Any questions in the room? If so, you just let me know. Iraq is out there. Iraq sent me something about the purple pigs, but I just don't understand what it is.
I have it, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
You want to say it for the show? You want to do it?
It was your call. So I got a text about the apples. They're called Honey Crisp apples. Those are the only good ones. The rest of them, I don't know what they do with those. Feed them to horses or applesauce, I don't know. If you like them, eat them. I'm not telling you they ain't unlawful, but there's a difference in the different types of apples. Everyone gets that. Go ahead.
I'll read the post. This is from Big Frida.
Big Frida, you remember him. He's the dancing machine of the IURC. Go ahead.
He saw a flyer that said this property was cleaned by the I.S.U.P.K.
Where was the property at?
In North Carolina.
So the brothers went out in the streets and cleaned the community out in the street. Is that what you're talking about? All right, go ahead.
Big Frida had this to say, I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay.
And I'll read it. It says, I don't understand why pretend to hate us so much but follow secretly. Oh well, To God be the glory. Great job. More followers. Let's hit.
What the hell that's talking about? Following him. I don't know what it means. The IUIC, who know? You know who they are, brother? The IUIC? They're a coalition of purple cops. You know, who one of them unalived a girl in Joy Morgan in London. Did you hear about that, brother?
Yeah,
You know him well.
I believe it, not an ex-girl of mine. When I first started learning about I.S.U.P.K.
Get a brother the microphone. 1 second.
So about 10 years ago, when I first started learning about I.S.U.P.K, I started learning about an ex-woman of mine.
Mhm.
She liked IUIC. So I was like, all right, they're okay.
Mhm.
And then I followed them, so I was flip-flopping back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I seen they went to Africa. And I was like, we're not supposed to do that. And then I was like, nah. Then they just did the more and more scandals came out. I was like, I don't know.
You made a wise decision. Give him a hand. Wise decision. Yeah, they went to Africa, courting every stinking African that they could find, doing God knows what crimes to the African people. They went to Africa, they unalived Joy Morgan, a ton of them, including this Big Frida here, some type of cop. I don't know his actual name. We call him Big Frida because he's a half a LGBT, and he has an amazing dance history. Hold on 1 second. Oh, this is the post.
His name is Abayel.
You should check the Hebrew on that. Abayel. I don't understand. I don't understand why pretend to hate us so much, but follow secretly. Oh well, to God be the glory. This is a disgusting Christian group. I've been in the truth since 95, which is nothing compared to Commander General Yohanna. I have never heard a man say, to God be the glory. This is the first time, right now. It just happened. I didn't know that men talk like that. You gotta help me out. Have you ever heard a brother say, okay, to God be the glory? I have never heard that in all my years of being in the school. Same young brother, give him the microphone. For those of you online, I'm asking the young brother because he's not a trooper or an officer yet. He's a student, and I'm assuming he knows about them more than we do. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've never heard necessarily to God be the glory from other Israelites. To God be the glory.
Another Israelite group might say, to Yah be the glory. We would never do that in here. But I get your point. The reason we would never do it is because we have a definite sense of what is masculine. We get that from Commanding General Yohanna. It is effeminate to say, to God be the glory. That's a grandmama phrase. That's a phrase. That's a phrase for Big Mama on Tyler Perry movies. That's what Big Mama says. Y'all coming in to eat? Y'all ain't coming to the family reunion? You don't want to get along? Y'all arguing? To God be the glory. Did he say glory? Because I think that's the proper pronunciation. Glory. Glorilla, that's her name. Glorilla, her birth certificate name is Gloria Hallelujah. That's her first name is Gloria. Her middle name is Hallelujah because she's Christian. And Big Frida or Abayel is a big Christian. He's a church boy, a choir boy. And Commanding General Yohanna's men are killers. This group should stay away from us. It should stay far from us. We are not like you. Right. We don't say, to God be the glory. We don't talk like that. And I don't know what is he saying because we cleaned up a community. We're following them. The IUIC has been around since 2006. General Mahayaman has been in the truth since 1995. General Katham has been in the truth since 92. General Sharamar has been in the truth since 92. How in the hell could you do something before we did it? Do you know how long I've cleaned streets? My God, I've done this in New York, in Philadelphia, in Baltimore. That's just me. There are brothers that have been in the school longer than me, like General Katham, General Shalimar. Who else? Captain Zakar. You know how many streets Captain Zakar has cleaned before I came into the school? Before I was in the truth. You or no fake Israelite group could do anything before us because we have been around since 1969. We've done everything already before you thought of it. Anything else? All right. Where we at right here? Say again? We good to go. Any other questions before I wrap it? Let me do my Espanol, and then I'll end it, all right? Unless I have questions in the room, I'll try to answer. Nope, someone check online to make sure I'm not missing anything, all right? I appreciate you. Go ahead, Ward.
Somebody wanted to ask, like, what's the whole duty of a female? Like, sorry, like, is she allowed to help them with like financial issues or things like that?
Is she allowed to? Absolutely, she's allowed to. The duty of a female, Locke, is the duty of a family member. What's the duty of a family member? To keep the family alive. That's the duty of everyone in the family. Your wife's duty is very similar to yours with some differences, just like in any family. You have the man, the woman, and the children. That's the family, right? That's the core of what this school is about. This school is about building a family that starts with a man, a woman, and a child, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows into a nation of people who are a family. You understand? So what's the job of a child in a family? The job of the child in the family is to keep the family alive. That child can't die at 15 because our whole future is depending on that child. That child can't die in the streets at 13 years old. We need that child to survive for this family to have a future. At the same time, however, the child is under the woman. He has to listen to his mother. He has to do what his mother tells him to do. He has a responsibility to this family on his own, but he also is under his mother in authority in the house. Then you got the children themselves. You have the older child and the younger child. They all have to make sure the family succeeds, but the older brother has to be in charge when the parents aren't there. The older brother has authority over the younger siblings. You have to babysit your younger siblings. You got to look after them. If you're the older brother, you're the oldest daughter, you better look after your younger brothers and sisters. You have authority over them. Then you get to the woman. The woman is over all of those children in authority. And what's her responsibility? To make sure this family survives. And she does it the same way the kids do it. With every resource at their hand. Every last one. Everyone has to do it. That child has to take what he has and make it grow so this family can succeed. You go out and you become a doctor. You go out and you become a lawyer. Why? So the family can have money. So the family can have a house. That's why you're pressing your children to go to college and pressing your children to get an education and get a good job. Why? For the family. We need mechanics in here. We need people who have skills and nurses. Your family needs you to succeed in school. You're not going to school for yourself. You're going to school for your family. You're getting a degree, a diploma. You're going to a trade school for your family to succeed. We need you to do it. We need you. Give a shout out to Nakar here in Philadelphia. Give Nakar a hand. Went out to school to be an engineer. He is going to enrich his home, his family with that. The kids go to school, go to high school, get good grades, go learn something to enrich your family. Women, go to school, go learn a trade, do something to enrich your family. Men, go to school, learn, get wisdom, education, and knowledge, and a skill to enrich your family. And a man has a double burden. to be in charge of everyone else who's in charge of someone else. The man is in charge of the entire family. The man is in charge of the woman is in charge of the children. What is a woman's responsibility? To make sure his family survives. Right. Everyone understands. With that, pass the class over. What's your name? Precinct Officer Nathaniel. Come on.
We're up. Y'all